Thinking is usually believed to be a function entirely untrammeled and free, without any rules to constrain it. But that is not true. Thinking moves by its own processes in a bounded territory with definite paths and patterns. Thinking follows the tracks laid down in one's own inner conversations. All of us can realize our objectives by the wise use of mind and speech. Okay? So by mind and speech, Neville means by our internal conversations, our inner conversations, right? What we believe ourselves to be, what we feel and know consciously ourselves to be, our consciousness, so to speak, all right? So all of us can realize our objectives by the wise use of mind and speech. So use your inner conversation wisely by putting it on the things that you desire and already feeling, believing, and knowing that you already possess those things. Most of us are totally unaware of the mental activity which goes on within us, right? But to play the game of life successfully, we must become aware of every mental activity. For this activity in the form of inner conversations is the cause of the phenomena of life, right? So once again, Neville is showing us, and yet still another way, how our inner world, our consciousness, our inner beliefs, our ideas, our self-talk is outpictured in our 3D world. So to change the outside, we must first change the inside. Every outer word that man shall speak, they shall give account thereof in the day of judgment. Every idle word that man shall speak, they should give account thereof in the day of judgment. For by thy words thou shalt be justified, and by thy words thou shalt be condemned. And once again, by words, he's talking about consciousness, your inner beliefs, your inner conversations, what you are saying inwardly, what we are feeling ourselves to be inwardly, how we are imagining our lives inwardly, because how you imagine your life inwardly is what you see on the outside. And it goes like this. It's inside out, right? You change it on the inside first. The law of the word cannot be broken. In other words, the law of consciousness, the law of inner conversation. A bone of him shall not be broken. The law of the word never overlooks an inner word, nor makes the smallest allowance for our ignorance of its power, meaning it works regardless whether you realize it or not. It fashions life about us as we, by our inner conversations, fashion life within ourselves. This is done to reveal to us our position on the playing field of life. There is no opponent in the game of life. There is only the goal. Not long ago, I was discussing this with a successful and philanthropic businessman. He told me a thought-provoking story about himself. He said, "You know, Neville, I first learned about goals in life when I was 14, and it was on the playing field at school. I was good at track, and I had a fine day, but there was one more race to run, and it had stiff competition in one and I had stiff competition in one other boy. I was determined to beat him. I beat him, it is true. But while I was keeping my eye on him, a third boy, who was considered no competition at all, won the race. That experience taught me a lesson I have used throughout my life. When people ask me about my success, I must say that I believe it is because I have never made making money my goal. My goal is the wise, productive use of money. This man's inner conversations are based on the premise that he already has money. All right, let's back up again. This man's inner conversations are based on the premise that he already has money. So that man, that fellow, had already had in consciousness that he was money, right? His constant inner question, the proper use of it, right? He was trying to figure out how to use it wisely, the proper use of it, even before he physically had it in the physical world, because he had it in consciousness. The man knew that consciousness is the one and only reality. So he got it in consciousness first, or inner conversations first. The inner conversations of the man struggling to get money only prove his lack of money, right? So if you're conscious and you're trying to get money, it doesn't work that way. You first have to get it in consciousness. And that's a feeling. That's a knowing. In his ignorance of the power of the word, of the power of consciousness, he is building barriers in the ways of the attainment of his goal. So as long as you are trying to get, you are building barriers. You must have in consciousness. This takes a deep understanding. This takes studying and listening to these books that Neville has. Reading these books. Neville is very powerful. He is building barriers in the way of the attainment of his goals. He has his eye on the competition rather than on the goal itself. So we must first, once again, get it in consciousness first. Leave the thing alone. Feel it in consciousness. Believe it in consciousness. Know that you already have it. Go into your meditation. Go into your prayer and believe that you have already received it. Believe that you already have it. Know that you already have it. Because you have it first in consciousness, in awareness. I am that. I am. Thank you.